business, we'll start back again. I want to thank, I know a lot of people probably left, but I want to thank everybody, citizens that came and gave their opinions. And I want to ask now if the council has consensus to move this to the city manager to take it back to the board for rezoning the map and the wording of the document. Significantly reduce the property zone and to change the wording of the document where the everyday people can understand it.
We don't change the essence of the document.
Before you do that, I'd like to see if it's possible to make a motion that we just dissolve this committee.
Thank you.
We can't do that. It's not agenda item.
Okay. And it's supposed to be put on the agenda for the next council meeting.
Yes.
You can do that.
I'd like for the dissolving of this here housing redevelopment board to be put on the agenda for discussion, take action on dissolving of this here committee.
Thank you.
Okay, do I have a consensus on taking this back? Absolutely.
You've got two actions
Okay.
that you're looking at. You need to decide one by one.
Okay.
You have consensus, and then you have that you asked for, and then you've got a motion by Councilman Cagle to put this on the agenda of May 10th.
But can we, I didn't think we could make a motion, that had not been on the agenda.
The mayor, as I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, the bylaws of this council is that the mayor, the city manager, or two members of the city council can add something to the agenda. Councilman Cagle was asking that this be placed on the next agenda,
Okay, well, last
which
month,
would be May 10th.
okay, I asked mine first, so we have consensus.
Consensus is to direct myself to get to the authority to significantly reduce the parameters of the map and redo the plan.
Right. Right.
Dissolve the whole thing.
That was a consensus thing.
I have consensus. The city manager do that? Anyone? No consensus? Okay, we're going, yeah.
Consensus, Vice Mayor Sewell, was a consensus to direct the city manager to get with the Housing and Redevelopment Authority to direct them to significantly reduce the limits or the parameters of the redevelopment plan map.
Residential or residential.
On residential and commercial, and pinpoint significant areas of light. Don't make it so general. Significant, define significant areas of light, and make the change, those applicable changes in the plan. If it's reducing substantially the residential, then you take the residential component out of the plan. But this council, as I understand it right now, wants to see the residential taken out and concentrated on commercial areas. If that is a consensus, I will take that back to the, with the directive to the authority, telling them that this is what the council expects of them. Now, if they don't do it, their plan is never going to get approved. Because the plan as of right now does not have a motion or a second or even support of this council. So they'll end up paring it down and taking those documents down. Concentrate predominantly on the commercial area, but make it more defined.
Have a consensus to do that?
Yes.
My consensus is to dissolve it.
Thank you.
So consensus is going to take, can we have a motion on?
No, that was the consensus. You don't need to vote on
No,
consensus.
we've got
Now
that.
you have,
Got a motion on the floor to,
is that
Somebody got a motion.
He's
Correct.
asking something be placed on the agenda, and our bylaws basically say that two or more.
Right, if two people or
One added to the agenda, it's on the agenda.
That's right.
Am I wrong on that, or?
Well, let me ask a question of that. Since I'm sitting up here on this podium tonight, the whole group of us, I don't have the authority, the only time that I can make a directive to you is when I'm sitting on this podium right here, and I've asked you to put this on the agenda, to have it put on the agenda for next week, so if the rest of them don't want to go along with it, and I'm being turned down, I sit here on the podium, so.
It's your bylaws. It's the council's bylaws. I've worked in 10 cities, sir, and some cities, anybody could add as many items on the agenda, Newport Richie. The last city I worked for, 3 members had to vote to put something on the council agenda. It's your bylaws. I can work any way I can.
Was that the work setting up here, I just couldn't walk into your office and ask for it to be put on the agenda, because I'm not sitting up here.
But if I get it-
know you did the other day.
But if I get a telephone call from you, and you say you want, or in my office, you say, I want this thing added to the agenda, and Larry Sewell comes in the following day and says, I want to put this on the agenda, it's on the agenda. I've got 2.
No, I understand that, but I'm sitting
And I
here
do.
now on the podium asking. So that means I have no right sitting here on this podium to ask you to do this.
But you gotta have 2 council members. That's what he just said.
That's what I understand. If I'm wrong,
I thought that was, so we were setting up here, this is the only time that we can issue a directive to him. I cannot issue a directive to the chief back there without going through him, sitting up here on the podium, and I have asked him to sit up here.
that's a little bit different because the chief is a personnel issue. And this is not a personnel issue. This is a policy decision that is made by the elected bodies, by you 5 people, not me. I follow them.
So he doesn't have a second. So is anybody going to second his motion?
Right?
Williams, anybody?
I hate to defer to the city attorney, but am I right or am I wrong?
Well, no, you're right, but it's not necessarily needs to be a motion. If Councilman Cagle has anyone else that wants to put it on there, it's on there. If not a motion is required.
Put it on.
It's just on there if there's 2 people on this council up here wants to put it on there.
So
What the citizens don't, what, if we do away with this board, then we don't have the authority to go out in the business areas and clean up some of this stuff that we want to revive, okay?
Create a new one.
Where's our housing commission for?
Now,
They can do the
Bring
same
on
thing.
qualified people to the board.
but the housing commission has what the approval is with regards to, they don't have as much time.
Right, same committee, but they're working through the codes department without all the power that this housing redevelopment's got.
So that's right.
Right. But that man right there has got all the authority the housing redevelopment has got.
Not exactly. He doesn't have any taking power.
No, he has the power to put the liens up, and I just
Yes.
understood what he just said on the liens.
That's correct.
Yeah, you can put the liens on it. We do that.
You know, you just had a man want to go Sunday tore a house down 2 years ago.
And the housing commission has the authority to vote for demolition of the property, not to take it, but to do demolition.
We have to have it for the demo.
What's the pleasure of council?
So, oh yeah. I will not be here on the next meeting. You guys got an email back in March, so there's no hidden agenda here. I've got a business, meeting that I cannot change, so I will not be here next meeting. That doesn't have anything to do with this. I would like to see the Housing Redevelopment Authority rework this and see, before we throw the baby out with the bathwater, and see what they come up with at their second attempt. Hearing the citizens' input, I'd love for them to come on May the 3rd as well and provide them these board members your input, because they
They will
originally
leave it.
started this. If we still do not approve, and trust me, I'll stand up, like I did tonight, and reject it, to at least to see what they can do to focus on some of this commercial issues that we currently have. We have one resident already come up and talk about the one that's been a problem for years, before we completely dissolve it. That's my opinion, and if we can get it right, I have no problem dissolving it.
I agree with you.
Who handles the cost of these, when they're doing the design of these maps, who's paying for all that?
We are.
Who's paying to redesign these? This would be once, now twice. Somebody has to be doing the plan, who pays for it?
The city,
City.
the city gave us money.
We all are.
Oh,
Rated.
City council gave the house for $2,000.
So they're gonna give them another 20 to redo it?
No.
Wow. Why don't we dissolve it and not spend another 20 on this?
We're gonna move on. We've got, everybody try to come to the May 3rd meeting. The board members will be there along with the council members. Codes enforcement, we've got 2 more pages we gotta go through tonight.
If I could please, will all 5 of the board members be there May 1st?
They should be.
All
Yes.
5?
Yes,
Or will be?
Well,
Curtis is helpful and all that.
oh, there's one that will, health issue.
Curtis
He's,
is assisted these.
Do you remember that I told you I saw him walking the building last Friday?
okay,
Will the mayor be present?
city manager, you have any,
No.
comments? Okay. Going to the old business.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, I do.
Okay, go ahead.
We have a primary election coming up May 1st. We have some positions that are on the ballot. I'm just letting everybody know that we have the lottery for positions out there on the entranceway and Thomas to City Hall. The lottery will be held on Monday, April 30th at 10:30 a.m. in this chambers. Just let you know. This is under council directive, that's last year, so you want to have a lottery at the time we have the election. This is it.
Okay, Brian,
Yes,
yes.
yeah, Mr. Mayor. I would like to, I didn't mention this when we were going through earlier, but to keep Chief Williams in your prayers. His mother passed this week, so keep him and his family in your prayers. They're going through a difficult time.
I was gonna say the same thing, condolences to the Williams family. On the office.
Take it, doesn't have, I don't have anything you, we're going to old business, ordinance number 1070.
In order that the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, to amend the zoning regulations and the zoning map of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, so as to rezone the property located at 1420 Boyd Street, tax map number 169G-C-003, and 1422 Boyd Street, tax map number 169G-C-004, from R1 Residential District to RT1 Residential Townhouse District.
I'm gonna make a motion, we take this off the table so we vote on it tonight.
Okay, we have a second.
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton.
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Stoll.
Yes. Okay, motion approved. May B, ordinance number 1072. Oh, it's not taken off, that's off the table.
Can you give me
Yeah, go give me an update on the 10.
Yeah, it relates to this, the zoning of 1420, 1422 Boyd Street. This has been in the queue for a bit, before planning commission back on March the 5th. A lot of the citizens, or some of the citizen business owners around that area addressed this council as it related to some stormwater drainage. Within the last few weeks, the city manager, myself, Norman Brown, street department supervisor, met on site. came up with some rough solutions, and we also explained to the business owners was that we were in the process of hiring a new engineering firm, and that's going to be one of the first priorities that the engineering firm looks at is how we can direct the water from just those two businesses on down back towards Ringo Road. We think we may have a solution, but we want to see if engineering will allow that to move forward. Also, Mr. Brown spoke with him. He is going to be locating the utilities on the side of the road for the development to go ahead and start cleaning out those ditches. That could be done anyway, so that's going to be a process. And the way this property actually sits on the road, that drainage should drain towards Oakdale, not towards Ringo Road.
Motion approved.
I'm gonna approve the motion. I drove over by this piece of property. Water drained off that to Armour Street, down Boyd Street, away from the gentleman that complained about where the water was fed. This piece of property were not causing a water problem for the ones that were complaining about it. So, I make a motion to approve this.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton.
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sewell.
Yes. Okay, ordinance number 1072.
In order to the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, setting the compensation of the city court clerk for the term beginning in November 2018 in accordance with Title III Municipal Court, Chapter 5, City Court Clerk, Section 3-504, compensation.
Have a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Cagle.
No.
Councilmember Hilton.
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sewell.
Yes. Pass. Okay, ordinance number 1073.
In order to the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, to amend the East Ridge zoning ordinance, ordinance 481, codified in Title 14, Chapter 2 of the East Ridge Municipal Code, by inserting a section labeled Article 11, Short-Term Vacation Rental Rules and Regulations to the East Ridge zoning ordinance, and adopting regulations allowing short-term vacation rental use and providing terms and conditions for the issuance of short-term vacation rental certificates.
Vice Mayor, Council, you may be aware through weekly updates that this did pass on the state level. The state level did go ahead and pass some short-term vacation rental legislation in addition to what was passed last year. It does appear that it'll have a preemption law, and what that means is basically if you're an existing short-term vacation rental owner in an R1 zone that has publicly advertised as a rental agreement and already done that, then you will be a legally non-conforming use. It will be grandfathered in. That was some of the changes that would directly impact what we've done.
Have a motion approved.
Motion approved. Question.
Second.
Are there any state rules or laws about the age limit that can be rented?
You're talking about renting under the age of 18? Is that what you're referring to?
Well, under state law, you can't contract with the minor, so that would apply.
So let me ask this on, back up on that. If a church group comes in, brings in, we're going to have 2 5-bedroom houses. Church group brings in 2 adults, husband and wife. The state law requires one each to stay in one house with each group of kids.
I'm not aware of any state law that would require that adults have to stay in that house. I think now that might be a question more for children's services to see what age group and what, but that's not necessarily a state law that would apply here.
So we're saying state law, the parents, the adults can stay in this one house, and we put 10 kids over in this other house under the age of 18.
That could be 17. There may be children right now, 17 still in a house without an adult.
2 kids per 140 square feet. We had come up with a general amount of parking per bedroom.
No.
No.
We'll base the parking based on what their actual parking is allowed based on the driveway that's suitable for their residents.
Description of area available for short-term vacation rental, the entire property in the house, a guest house, a portion of the house. So on this one piece of property, we can have a 5-bedroom house and a 5-bedroom guest house.
So as this is written, I can see where you say that, but in the city of East Ridge, you're not allowed to have 2 dwellings on one lot. Period. Unless it's for care of the aged. And then that's allowed by state law.
And we can only have 2 non-owner occupant short-term rentals.
2 non-owner occupant.
Two. An owner can only have, this has to be here.
They're referring to section you're looking at.
But my question is, can a non-owner occupant have 2 short-term rentals and then have an owner occupant short-term rental, which would give him 3 short-term rentals?
So he could have 2 non-owner that he doesn't live in, he owns, but he's a non-owner. And one he lives in and rents out of the room. Is that what you're saying? I
He
believe
can
that's.
have 3. That's all my question.
Okay, do we have a second on that? We have a second?
Second.
Jake, you have a motion?
I have one more question. We have 3 zones that are not allowed for short-term vacation.
Yes, currently.
It's R1,
RT1,
RD1, and RC.
T1.
Okay. So R2, R3, commercial, all of them are available. So I know, you know what I'm fixing to ask. We're going to allow people to start coming in and
Spot zoning.
spot zoning changing.
It would,
Like, or I got one residential one and they want to come in and before all this gets passed, and put R3 in or
so they could come in and ask for that type of plan. The RPA's recommendation would be no, staff recommendation would be no, but ultimately, it would be up to you to decide whether y'all wanted to create a spot zone.
Okay, roll call.
Councilmember Cagle.
no.
Councilmember Hilton.
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Stoll.
Yes. Okay, we got new business, A, ordinance number 1074.
An ordinance to amend ordinance number 922 relative to Article 6, Section 115.2, Rules and Regulations of the Municipal Code. Zoning ordinance applies Sections 155.3, minimum hotel and extended stay hotel requirements and standards, Section 115.4, minimum hotel requirements, and by adding an additional Section 115.5, penalties for failure to comply with hotel, extended stay hotel, or motel regulations.
I have a motion,
Motion approved.
Second.
discussion. Roll call.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton.
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Excuse me. Vice Mayor Stoll.
Yes. Resolution number 1774.
The resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, authorizing the purchase of e-citation equipment and software.
Chief Moore will tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, sir, Vice Mayor, Council. The department has been working with Tyler Technologies, Hamilton County IT, about setting up the usage of 5 electronic ticket writers. As you know, the longer the stop on a traffic stop, the possibilities increase that an officer can get hurt, whether it's by moving traffic around them or by potentially the violator. In this particular case, this is a moving wheel that involves the court, setting up of the court through the Hamilton County IT, since that's what they use is the Hamilton County Criminal Justice link for their court. It would provide us a way to electronically move those citations from the field into the court system, reducing errors and also, as I said before, contact with the violator and being outside the car would be a safety issue. The initial purchase to get 5 units up and running and working with Tyler Technologies and Hamilton County IT to get the system implemented, as we're looking at $36,830 to do so. There is a yearly recurring fee due to software issues of about $4,148 that would start the second year. Under Tennessee Code Annotated, I put a copy in there, 5510-207, subsection E1, which allows for a fee to be charged through the court of $5 for each one of these electronic citations. $1 of that goes to the court for their working of the citations. $4 goes back to the police department to pay for this equipment over a 5-year window.